First of all, hello. I will to introduce today two frameworks. My goal today is for 2 years. We started two small projects. I was not very happy about my architect because he decided to do it in TypeScript, and I'm really not a big fan of that. But we had a small group of 5 people, and the only language that everybody could do was JavaScript. And the first thing was I had a lot of difficulties. With the click. It doesn't matter, like that. Difficulties with the first project. I only had like a REST API client, to handle the database actions and to create a REST IP, and also with the Swagger documentation. And that was a big pain. I hated TypeScript. I hated my architect because the only thing after a while I only made any, yeah. And we decided, I think everybody knows Express here. Yeah, Express. But that in TypeScript was big pain. I'm a big fan of model view controller. I'm not an expert, but I think I'm a good developer in Python, C#, ASP.NET. I like these two. In Python, I'm a fast API, and in C# is ASP.NET. And they're pretty nice principle. I like MVC and dependency injection. I said, hey, why the hell I need to develop everything? Why there's not a framework with a logger, with Swagger, because it was a big pain with Express to do the Swagger documentation. It's what a lot of boilerplate. Now, first of all, I will introduce something about me. Then I will introduce that first framework, TS.ed. And then the second framework was Prisma, what I was using at the second project. The first project, I did everything by my own. I created the model view controller. I created the own class, everything in JavaScript, in TypeScript, and was a pain. And also, after a while, I used only any. It was very bad habit. I couldn't handle it anymore. Even the responses, the types in Express, the request, it didn't function. I did horrible wrong. And in the second project, I used this framework, and it was much better. First of all, something about me. Oh, again. There we go. Actually, I'm not a Python, I'm not a JavaScript developer. I'm data scientist and backend developer. Usually main language what I use is Python, Rust, and C#, and now also Java, because I'm working for an insurance company. Very, very old code. Very, very old legacy code. Very, very bad. Pays not too shabby, but very bad code. For 2 years, like I said, we had two small projects. The second project, I finally found this nice framework, because there must be a framework what MVC, dependency injection, controllers, and even the decorators, what I love about Python, are also in that framework. Yeah? What is TS.ed? Like I said, it's based on Express. Yeah? Express, I think it's pretty solid and a big community. And what I liked about TS.ed was there's many third parties libraries what you can use, what you just click, and it's a nice initialization. And out of the box, you have a lot of tools, really a lot of tools. While using it, like I said, out of the box, my first project, all the logging, I used Pino. Like I said, I'm not a big expert in the libraries, but I must admit the community of JavaScript, they have some nice libraries. This one, I also like Bulls and Prisma, what I will later also show. And like I said, the logging comes out of the box. The Swagger documentation comes out of the box. I need to do nothing, only with a small decorator, yeah, and testing also. The testing, easy, yeah. like I like it, like also in C# or Pythonic, like in Python. It's readable. I can do the integration test like that. It's really nice. Yeah? And also solid documentation. And what is also nice is a validation. I used SOT in the first project, a library, and that also comes out of the box. You just make an object. For example, it's really easy. You say name is string, and if in the body, maybe I have a show piece. Not here. Okay, doesn't matter. I think I have it right away. The benefits really are decorators, big, like I said, like that. Here, out of the box, the decorators, and there's a lot of built-in functions. And the documentation of that site is really, really good. And for most of your REST IP calls, it's really, really good. Good documentation, and Docker comes out of the box. That is really, really good. Yeah. Like the initialization is really, really good. You can use which I only know Express. I must admit Core. I have no idea about Core. The project style, the style, I use database, Swagger, testing, and linter. Prisma, I use Jest. Jest, you can also use Mocha, but I think that's not a big issue. And you can use ESLint and definitely NPM, what I'm also not a big fan of. Even Jan not, because after 2 weeks I only see warnings. Yeah? But that really out of the box, really good, and everything in TypeScript. And that is what I wanted to say. Out of the box, a validation. If you don't put a string on, yeah, you can write off the box with decorators. If you don't put a string or just a number, it will fail. Even if you, for example, make a model and put it into a post, and it doesn't, for example, for the rate, it's not a number, it will fail. And you will see directly in the Swagger documentation, when you try it, you will see the error message. It's included. It's really, really nice. You don't need, very good. Up. You find it right in the Swagger documentation, and you don't need to do it by your own. Like was my fault in the first project. I tried to, to invent the real new. Yeah. And with that framework, you have everything included. It's really, in my eyes, it's really, really good. I cannot say nothing about now robust. It was a small project, but it works still. Huh? It's really nice. In the community also, they helped me. The only problem what I had is a little bit with dependency injection with testing. Yeah? Integration test was not a big problem, but I had some problems. The documentation, but it can also be of my knowledge and TypeScript. Okay, now the second library, I think that it's more more popular, is Prisma. I like that very, very much, but I must admit, it's not, when you have a big complex SQL UML diagram, then it's not very good. For example, if you have like 10 or 14 classes, many relation, because in Prisma is one, who everybody already used one time Prisma. The problem is that one file, you can only in one file declare everything, and it's very, very messy. I like it more, I must admit. There's another library in Python that every class is separate. It's cleaner in my eyes, but Prisma is out of the box. It's a really nice thing. And out of the box comes, they say no SQL, but I must admit I only use it for SQL database. I never use it with Mongo. Huh? But they say you can also use no SQL. What is very good, it's quite easy. And if you have not so much knowledge about relationships, one-to-one, one-to-many, it helps you. When it's not too complex. Prisma, if you define here something and you miss something, even in Visual Code, there are some nice extensions. If you just format, it will correct it. When it's not too complicated, it's really nice when you don't have the knowledge. When it comes suddenly for ambiguous relation, that it's like I said, not for complex stuff, but if you have a group and they are not so experienced, Prisma is a nice tool, really nice tool. And you have built-in TypeScript models to when you do Prisma generate. then you have that client and you can use it. That's really, really nice. Time? Yeah, it doesn't matter. And the time after you generate, you have it in your library and you can use the function. And they're pretty straightforward, I must admit. They're really pretty straightforward. All asynchronous, but really good, I must admit. And it's also, you can also use it for different languages. Like in Python, you can use it for also Java and Go, and I think also C#. And you have also a migration tool. That's also, if you change any value, even if you have, for example, you change a value from a string to a number, you can migrate it, or you put another value. That's also very nice. It's 3-in-1, and you also have a GUI. That GUI is really nice. But what I was used normally, I got used to these stupid GUIs. I'm not sure. I'm not happy with this. But that Prisma is really like a tool all in one. It is really, really nice. Really, really nice. And like I said, that is like the thing what you have then. Everything is put together. You have Docker. Everything is included. It's really, really nice. Conclusion, I must admit, have a look at these two frameworks. I must admit, when I started with the first project, to do everything on your own was a big hustle, and these two frameworks helped me a lot. I must admit, it's quite a game changer for this kind of work. And good principle like dependency injection, testing, principle, model view controller, logging, Swagger, etc. Yeah, that's it, and simple to use, I must admit. Any questions? Okay, I will repeat it.
So what will you use for your fourth project?
Are
you storing other frameworks? Because I have never learned about this one.
To say the truth, I hope I will not make it in TypeScript. I'm not sure. The only thing, but if I must develop, for example, what I will use in the next project, when I must do it in TypeScript, I will definitely use these two frameworks again. If the complexity of the database structure is not too heavy, if there's a lot of relation, I won't use Prisma. But I'm also not a big expert if there's another library, I must admit that. But that was a big pain to do everything in one file. And I also was Googling it, and they already tried it, but there's many developers want to change that. They want that changes. Yeah, that's it. Any other question?
So I see it's very TS.ed is very convenient for REST APIs.
Yeah, 100%.
But where is the MVC? I didn't see any views, especially.
There is also some rendering. I wanted to do some practical examples, but I never heard about Chromecast in my life. It's the first time. It's also built, but actually only for the controller. The view is for the Swagger API. Yeah, everything what you the Swagger is on top, is mounted, and it's the view is the Swagger API. Yeah, but actually I won't do it to render websites. Yeah, only for the Swagger document and to use it for REST IPs. That I would recommend. Yeah. Next question.
Can you elaborate a little bit about how works the dependency injection in TS.ed?
You mean about dependency injection?
You have a container, you build your own container.
You build. It's pretty nice. It's a platform, a Bootstrap platform, and it's built in. you build your own server. You don't need to start it. It's started, and then you can, for example, do all the integration tests. I think they're using, the library Supertest for Express. I'm not sure. I think so, but it's simulating the server, and I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a bootstrap. It simulates the server, and then you can simulate every controller and every action.
This is the question when you have the control structure dependency of the other.
Yeah.
Who injects this dependency?
Yeah, that you can also.
Container, who you need to build a container with your own other dependencies, because I am using right now, it's called dependency in time, JavaScript dependency injection. You need to build your own container and define what is your other dependencies by names, and you can pick it from the container and add it to the container and we'll build it later.
And what is also nice to build it later, there's also a decorator inject, like the logger also injector. That is also pretty nice. And you have a built-in logger. And but I was not more sophisticated. It was a pretty simple project what I had. But I must lie, with the dependency injection in that framework, I had a little bit of problems. Integration test was no problem, but suddenly when I wanted to change it or also to inject the client, the Prisma client, I must admit, I had some difficulties.
Okay. Because it's in general for JavaScript.
But I'm also very bad in TypeScript, very, very bad. Annie is my biggest friend. Yeah.
Another question?
Here?
What is it so much you don't like about TypeScript?
It's more about my knowledge, I think. 100%, and it makes it so difficult. For example, in other languages like Rust, what is also very type safe, if I have a problem, I can solve it. And suddenly I said, yep, that is the response. And even if I know, for example, in Express, when I did everything by my own with the types response of Express and request, I still had problems. And sometimes I had a repository pattern, I still had big problems. And with NPM also with to the robust side of packages, I'm also not a big fan. Like after 2 weeks, everything warnings. Yeah, but it works. Yeah, I must admit, I have no idea.
How, but it does.
Yeah. Any other question? Then thanks again.